I'm Holly Constant.
And I'm Maddie Hockaday. We really love Parks and Rec, and we really love behind-the-scenes details.
So we're researching everything from DVD extras like deleted scenes and commentaries,
plus interviewing cast and crew who actually worked on the show.
We also bring on guests and friends to geek out about everything parks.
So join us, you tropical fish.
This is literally the best Parks and Rec rewatch podcast.
We're your park pals.
There's a park and some pals, and there's also therapy too.
Okay, hello everyone. We are at the trial of Leslie Knope. Things are finally happening. This is a big deal.
I know I feel like this is such a bittersweet episode for me because we have the sweetness and wonderfulness of Ben and Leslie, like it coming to a head, and we're over this whole will they, won't they, like will it work out thing. But it's also like what's going to happen to them.
Yeah, and it kind of crashes, but in a good way at the same time. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, okay, well,
we're here for
Season 4. You said what?
We're here for it, though.
We're here for it. Season 4, Episode 9. This was written by Dan Gore, who was our friend from Brooklyn Nine-Nine and the Sherverse, obviously. Directed by Dean Holland of also the Sherverse fame. And if you're new here, Dean Holland and Dan Gore are both like huge parts of Parks and Rec, but also Dean Holland is like the reason why The Office is The Office, I think. As far as like the, mockumentary style and the editing, jump cuts, all that kind of stuff. So amazing team here. And for me, I just feel like this one didn't have a ton of extra information for me because first of all, it's all in one place, which we've talked about.
Yep.
The whole scene or episode is in City Hall. And I can't remember what that kind of episode is called. They talked about it on Office Ladies. It's called like a bottle episode, I think. I want to something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where they like keep it all in one because it's cheaper, but also like, and there's also no A, B, or C stories. It's all the trial.
Which I think is super intentional and perfect because I think this is such a huge focus and everybody's kind of playing a role in their own way in what's happening. Yeah. So I love it. But like I was telling you earlier, like I felt like it was going to last, the episode is going to last a long time because there's no like cutting to the other stories. And it just felt like it went by in a snap for me.
Yeah. And they do cut back and forth pretty frequently. But yeah, it was really well done.
Yeah.
But anyway, I have summary written whenever you're ready.
Perfect. Okay. Trial of Leslie Knope. Leslie and Ben have finally decided that they are going to start a relationship together. But first they must face the wrath of Chris and the next steps in Leslie's job. That's short and sweet. I mean, that's all it is.
And I mean, that summary also points to like a really interesting like storyline, or not storyline, but just like theme almost of like them thinking that it's like Chris's rule. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's like not, even though I totally agree that he takes it a little bit out of hand with calling 14 witnesses, but
Yeah, I have a lot of like back thought on the whole Chris aspect of the story for sure.
Yeah. Well, this episode opens with Ron trying to buy a model aircraft, and he's asking April basically how the internet works because apparently an ad came up that had his first and last name, which, as we know, Ron would hate this as far as privacy goes. And she explains about cookies and how the internet remembers things you buy so that it will learn what you like and offer ads and whatever else, so you'll keep buying stuff, which is hilarious to me also because how far we've come. Even that like was kind of not the beginning, but like kind of the beginning, like in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. And by mid 2000s, I mean like 2010s kind of thing. How the cookies have always been a thing, but like now with Instagram and TikTok and all these like ads that come at you no matter what, and how you can kind of curate your algorithm to show you the things that you like. It's wild.
It's kind of scary. I'm kind of with Ron on this. What was it? I think I was looking at, for our honeymoon, flights to Ireland on my work computer. Didn't do any looking because I didn't have, Ivan and I share this computer. So I wasn't looking on here. I was looking on my work computer, and my work computer and my phone are not connected in any way. And then Ireland ads started popping up on my FaceTime.
Yeah.
Or my Facebook. And I was like, okay, no, I don't like that. That's kind of scary. But at the same time, like I think things like TikTok, right? I prefer for them to use the algorithm to know what I like because I don't want to sit there and watch 20 minutes of videos that I don't think are funny.
Yeah, that part is true. But yeah, the ads thing, I didn't realize also until this like kind of all started, that like when I would look stuff up on my work computer, I was logged in on my Gmail, and Google obviously knows everything.
Oh.
So if you were logged into your Gmail, potentially, it does connect to your phone.
Absolutely. Yep. Okay. Well, that answers my question. Makes me a little less freaked out.
But still, there are times, I mean, obviously, maybe we think we don't talk about or like Google stuff on our phone or whatever, but there have definitely been times when you are literally just talking about it with your friend and then it comes up. And so I have no, like, I don't know, naivety about them potentially listening.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. But to me, it seems interesting because, I don't know, the way that I was watching this was kind of like, this is, I don't know, not that it's like biting Ron in the butt, but I also feel like, I don't know, this is capitalism at work, Ron. This is what you love. Yeah. So I don't, like, this is the bad side of what you love. So I'm sorry, but that's how it works.
Yeah.
You take
There's
the good
pros and cons to everything, bud. Yeah.
So anyway, but he learns about Google Earth and throws away his whole computer, which I think is so funny. This very Ron Swanson to throw away a computer that doesn't even solve the issue if you just throw that away.
Right. Well, and
like breaking your phone, and there's it's still information on there in the ether.
Yeah, it still lives out there, but it's not just your computer. I loved the edit there. Like there's no explanation, nothing. And I think I love the editing in this episode, and we know why. You explained it in the very first minute of this podcast, but I think that was just one of the greatest things, because there's no communication about what he's going to do or anything. We just see him throwing the computer.
Totally. And I do wonder how, I'm going to have to add that to my to-do list again, because I think I've reached out or tried to reach out to Dean Holland a couple of times, but I wonder how much he did have in this, or maybe in the editing part of it, because I mean, he directed it, so I'm sure that he like was thinking of the edit as he's directing too. But there is actually an editor named Ivan, actually, which is ironic. But there's an editor that has edited like pretty much all of up till now the parks. So I don't know if like Dean Holland has been working with Ivan to go through what he wants, or if Ivan took some like knowledge / inspiration from Dean. I don't know. So I'm very intrigued, and I will have to reach out to both of them somehow.
Yeah, because that would be fascinating to know.
Yeah. I did look up / did a tiny little deep dive on Google Earth and how it started and all these things.
I think I was living overseas when it started, and I came back one year, and David and Andrew showed me like, hey, you can see the outside of your house, and we could find my house in Beijing, and it was crazy. Like,
it's nuts.
It's so detailed.
Well, it's kind of like, I feel like my house is my home house, like my hometown and everything is very similar to Ron's house, meaning that there's just trees all around, and there's not really anything else except for like a few spotted houses here and there. So it's really wild to see the satellite view of like all the trees and still see your house. It's nuts. Yeah. But anyway, well, it really began in 2001. And this episode was in 2011, I think, at this point. So it was fairly newish, especially with technology changing so frequently. But it was really started from a company named Keyhole and with the satellites. And so not the cars driving around with the cameras on top. That started a little bit later. It was because like, remember, or maybe when you talk about like your house in Beijing and stuff, like you could see, and what I was just talking about, like the satellite view of it, not like the street view. So that's what started. And like, I mean, you could use satellites have been in use forever. So they just kind of used this technology. But Google acquired Keyhole in 2004. So that was 3 years later after Keyhole started. And Keyhole's Earth Viewer reached reached like the wide public as Google Earth in 2005. So 2005 was really like when it started ramping up. I don't think when it was Keyhole that it like was used as much. I think it was used, but not like to the public. You know what I mean?
Right. Had other like specific uses.
Yeah. But they used the Corona satellite. This is what I was talking about before. Like satellites have been around forever. And the Corona satellites were operated from 1959 to 1972. So they just used the same technology for this purpose.
Okay.
So crazy.
Very cool.
And then 2007 is when they started using the cars. So I don't think by 2011 it was as amazing as it is today, like to see the street view. But that's when they started using the cars to go around. And I read that this made me laugh a little bit, but also like was kind of wild and amazing too, that like in really remote, oh, bless you.
Thank you.
In remote parts of the world, they actually use like sheep and goats and people who hike around and like tie the camera on them and like, or that's like strapped to their head, especially the like people that are hiking around to get to those really like small rural areas of like,
wow,
all across the world. It's crazy.
What an effort.
I know.
That goes into that.
I know. So anyway, and I think it's also really interesting. I should have looked this up, but there's also that scene in the office when the Google Maps car catches Mose and Dwight on the seesaw. And I think that was around the same time. So it must have been really prevalent.
Yeah. Yeah. Probably like with the big new thing, like that Google Earth existed.
Yeah. Totally. But anyway, so that's my little deep dive on that. And now we're back at where Leslie and Ben are telling Chris about their relationship. They're holding hands like under the table / next to each other in the chairs. And Leslie's feet are really tapping nervously, which is really a good detail too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Great. I mean, that whole setup that we start there, right? Like zoomed in on their hands and you can see her like bouncing a little bit. And I think it just sets the tone. I love that they're holding hands in solidarity. Like they're coming in doing this together. And I just thought that was really, really nice.
It is. It really is.
So,
and they apologize. I mean, they're not like, fuck you kind of thing. They're like, sorry for the position this puts you in. And Chris gets up and I love this line. Are you hugging or fighting? Hugging or fighting? Let me know.
Yeah.
None of those things.
None of those things. And I love, she has this optimism, right? Like about her, like, this is okay. It's gonna be okay. And Ben's face is just like, honey, no.
I know. I love that too of like, what I'm about to say makes me even sadder. Then don't say it.
Yeah.
But what he is going to say is that Chris is launching a full-scale investigation into the extent of their wrongdoing, and they need to report Monday morning for trial and punishment. But, I mean, I do like that he leads with, this I love you both, and this really sucks, and I hate this, you know what I mean? Because as much as Chris isn't my favorite character right now, like, you do see the bind that this puts him in. Like, he doesn't really want to do this trial. He's just trying to be a good boss and leader and government employee and all that stuff.
I think this is honestly the way he handles this part of it, right? The whole, like, we're going to do a trial is so professional and fair. And because like, if he wasn't their friend, like, right, maybe he would have just straight up fired them or whatnot. Right. But he's also not giving them preferential treatment because they're his friend. Right. And I think that's fair. I think if there is a rule or an understanding that you're not going to date within the government, especially a supervisor to employee, like, they do need to kind of answer for what's happening. Right. Rather than coming forward in the beginning, they're coming forward like a year later. But yeah, it does get a little bit crazy. But right in this moment, I'm like, this was a fair way to do it. Like, I can see this.
And I did ask Brooklyn, again, for those of you who are new here, Brooklyn is my sister who works in the government. And I did ask her, like, have you ever been a part of an ethics trial? Like, are these even real? Like, what is the deal here? And she said that she's actually never been a part, like, of them personally or whatever. But she definitely knows that they exist. And I was like, that's so fascinating. And one of the main things she said was, like, people try to work for their spouses all the time. And I was like, oh my God, that's so crazy. Like, I don't know. I mean, I know it's real technically, but to hear that it's like happens all the time where people, spouses try to work for their boss, husband or wife or whatever, like, seems really wild. Like, because you can be in different departments, obviously. Right. But they, if you're reporting directly to your spouse, it's definitely a source of like corruption or it could be rather a source of corruption. It doesn't have to be. But there are times, it's just sticky. And I think there are times too, like in corporate world, which I don't think that's why I think it's so different, because in the corporate world, I think as long as you, like disclose it, then I think it's technically okay. I don't know how the boss and the employee stuff works, but I know I've definitely heard that, like a relationship disclosure form kind of thing. But
we have a lot of husband, wife, people that work at our company. And like I said, like Ivan's applied to work there and they have no issue with that. I think it's the whole, is that the person you answer to?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it probably can't be. Like, I even think about Jim and Pam, right? Is like, when he's promoted and he's co-manager with Michael, like Pam can still answer to Michael.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
but
not
then
like
Holly and Michael. Holly
that's
answers
true
to
too,
Michael.
and that's HR. Yeah, that's interesting.
So, I just feel like in the corporate world it's different.
It is
like,
yeah.
There's tons of corruption in both places, but the government like should be at least trying to take some of that corruption away. I don't know. I'm sure that if it went to court in a corporate world or something like that, it would definitely be investigated further. But I think that the government has way more heavy rules around it.
Right.
So anyway, but I thought that was definitely interesting. There is a whole deleted scene here where Ben and Leslie are in Leslie's office. And it's actually amazing because at the beginning of the scene, they're in the courtyard because as you saw, it was snowing outside because now it's winter in Indiana.
Love it.
And that is totally CGI, totally fake because that is totally the Pawnee/Pasadena, California scene where it is not snowing. And it looks great.
Oh, I think so too. Yeah.
I think it does.
Yeah.
But there is this whole deleted scene, which I'll get to the scene in a moment, but I was so flabbergasted because this is totally Dean Holland because we did this, oh shoot, I can't remember which episode it was, but he did this whole thing where the camera is up, like pointing at the sky and then comes back down and pans to like the courtyard. He did that again, but it's full on snowing. Like they have a full on snow machine. It does not look CGI to me. And they're out in the courtyard, which again is on set at CBS Radford in Studio City, California. It's pointing at the sky. It's like fully snowing. And then they pan back down. I think I actually took a video of it so I could show it to you because I think it looks really good. I don't know why. I mean, I get why they cut it if they weren't going to use that full scene, but I think it looked good. Okay, hang on.
I love snow.
I know, I do too. It looks really beautiful, especially when it's like fake. Oops.
Oh, that's so nice.
I know, it's so cute. Wait, did you see the beginning?
Yeah, when it panned down. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I was like, oh my God. But I also think it's really interesting that we know about Dean Holland's like style and how much he loved that courtyard for whatever reason. But yeah, I really would have loved to see that further, but it's okay. You know now. But anyway, the actual scene is Leslie is like, I don't want to go. Like, I don't want to go tell Chris. Let's just not do it. We don't have to do it. And she does this whole thing. You know how before she was like, let's go scuba diving. Are you certified? We'll get you certified.
Yeah.
Like she basically does that, except for creating a whole new scenario. And I thought you would appreciate this because she says, maybe we can move to Phoenix and go undercover as high school seniors. And then she has these characters set up for them. And she's going to be the captain of the gymnastics team and math team. And he's going to be a delinquent with a heart of gold. And I just think it's so funny.
That is so Leslie.
It's so Leslie. But Ben says, this is where I was really getting to, apart from the snow and everything. But Ben says, I promise we'll feel better than we're feeling right now. And then in that scene that we do see, he's like, told you we'd feel better, you know?
Yeah. And this is one of those, I mean, countless situations that we all come upon in our life where it's like, I really don't want to do this thing, but in a couple weeks, I'm going to feel so much better that I did it. You know?
Yeah. In the moment, it sucks.
Part of being a human.
Yeah. Well, the next scene is Leslie in the council chambers, and she's there at 6:30 a.m. But
got
she got
there at 3
a.m. Jinx. Because she couldn't sleep. And Ben says he wanted to come in early to surprise her, but obviously that was, a fool's errand. Yeah. And he gets her this cute little Sebastian pony. I love it.
I love it too, because he knows how important little Sebastian was to her. He still doesn't get it, but he's like, you know what? Like, this is important to her. It'll bring her happiness. So it's so sweet.
That was so sweet. It looks so cute.
Yeah.
And then this is where Ben says she's probably just going to get him the slap on the wrist. Like, don't even worry. Maybe a brief suspension. It's fine. And to Leslie, like, that's awful because that's a permanent record thing. And she's not the kind of person that has a permanent record. And it's just not okay, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
For her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And I mean, I think for a lot of people who, especially because she has these aspirations to go really far in the government,
that's
right?
True too.
She doesn't want that tainting her record. I mean, me as a citizen who votes for people, right? to learn, hey, she has this on her record, but she ended up married to him.
Yeah.
That would be, for me in the long run, it's like, okay, well, they were meant to be there. You know, it wasn't just this affair type situation, but I can
it's not
see
like
why
either of them were married or dating somebody else or whatever.
Or like underage.
Oh my God.
Or an intern or something.
That's true too. Oh my God. But Ben is trying to comfort her and saying that he'll be on the other side of the wall all day. So just look at that scary monster painting and know that he's there.
Yes. Which I learned in my research is a retouched painting of an 1859 self-portrait of Jean-Auguste Dominique Igris. I'm totally butchered that entire fucking name probably.
It's all good.
A person. It was a self-portrait.
Yeah, he was a French painter from 1780 to 1867, which is crazy.
Yeah. I love that they did that.
But that's wild that it's like his self-portrait and he made himself look like that.
Yeah. I didn't know what they meant by retouched. Like, how retouched? Did they like really mess up his like face to make it look worse, or?
I feel like retouched is not right. Actually, I would be interested. I didn't do this during my research, but I would be interested to like look up the actual self-portrait, because I feel like it's just the same. You know what I mean? By retouch, they probably didn't. I don't know. Okay, let me see. Self-portrait. Oh, it is. It is very retouched. His face is not.
Okay, so they added what looked like the burn marks.
They added the blowing up thing.
Okay.
Share screen. Share? Can you see that?
Yeah, it's loading.
Okay. You see it now?
Yes. So that's the real dude.
Yeah, this is the real dude. His face does not look blown up.
He's old, but he's not old. Burned.
Right, he's not burned by dynamite. Oh my God, that is hilarious.
Beautiful. Okay. We'll have to post that. That's great.
Yes,
I love that they took it from a real painting.
Me too. So. Marcus Everett Langley was his name in the show, and he was Pawnee's greatest lawyer at the turn of the century. Old Stone Face was his nickname because dynamite blew up his face at the quarry.
Oh boy, they're not. I mean, they're kind of creative, but mean.
I know, and I'm sure the same person who painted all the murals painted this, because it just looks very similar to that like style.
Yeah.
And I did just I'll post this interview too, but Jeffrey Mossa, who is the art director, we talked to him and he like said a lot of information about the murals and other fun art department things. So I totally think that you guys should go back and listen to that if you haven't, because it's super interesting.
Yeah. I love that I think it's giving Pawnee its own vibe. Absolutely. Right, with all the paintings kind of looking like they go together and everything.
I'm so glad we looked that up though, because I totally, when they said retouched, I was like they just painted it again. You know what I mean? Right. But no, they added in that he was blown up.
Yeah. Which is great. I love that. I also did a slight deep dive because I'm fascinated by these green lamps on the tables. And I was like, oh, those are in libraries everywhere. Like in the Boston Public Library, it's there like all over the place. And so I looked it up, like, why are those so, I think they're cool looking, but like, why are they used? So it sounds like they originally were used in libraries because psychologically they thought it was soothing. It put less strain on the eyes. And it was very popular amongst the upper class, so that it made it look much fancier in there. Okay. It's called the banker's lamp. Okay. And it also is supposed to boost productivity and brain power. So interesting, which now we have like blue light. Yeah. On your screens and stuff. I think that's kind of the very long time ago beginning of that, where they were like, this will help mute the light when people had to be sitting there reading for so long. Interesting. Yeah, it's in like all, I feel like government institutions, like libraries, courthouses, things like that. Yeah. Absolutely. Interesting. And like lawyers' offices too. I feel like I've seen those every now and again. Definitely at law schools they have it. I think I think it's in Legally Blonde. Oh, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Which again is libraries, makes all sense. That stuff. Well, they have to read a lot. So I wonder, because it doesn't like give off a green hue, does it? No, but I think it softens the light. The light. Yeah, I don't think it like turns. Or maybe it's like slightly green, but like not to the eye. You know what I mean? Right. That's interesting. Okay, cool. So, love that.
Well, Chris is now going off the deep end. This is causing stress and sadness, and Chris hates feeling this. So he went to his herbalist and got 900,000 vitamins and supplements to help him feel better. I thought this was really interesting that they're building on this because, I don't know if it was on purpose or whatever to see him spiral, but like when he spirals later, I don't know, whatever, maybe it's at the end of this season or whatever with Richard
it's after
Nygaard.
Millie.
Yeah, where he like needs to go to therapy because Tom is like, you spiral so out of control when it's like having to do with the inside of your mind. And so it's really good character building on his part. I don't know if it was on purpose, but I really enjoyed seeing that.
Yeah, I think so too. I thought it was funny because it seemed like he almost came more prepared than Leslie.
Yeah,
because he has that whole briefcase of like all of his stuff that he's unpacking. Yeah. I mean, it's not files and shit; it's vitamins. Right. But I think that's a great point. Like we're seeing that he has this side to him that's like not as stable,
right?
And I think it also gives him a human quality here because we are upset with him that he's making them go through with it. But I think we're also getting to see the friend side of him that's really beating himself up that he's doing it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of nice. Nice to see. So
I do think he came more prepared though, like in general though.
Yeah, I
think she thought she was going to be like, okay, I can prove that we didn't do anything unethical, like by, and then she learns that he got 14 witnesses and she's like, oh, fuck.
Right. Well, and I think she thinks back on it and to her, they stopped dating. Right. Yeah. And she's like, well, we, that was our solution, that we obviously didn't do anything wrong. And so I think the fact that he has 14 witnesses is like, am I forgetting something?
Right,
like, holy crap. Yes, she did. Yes.
Big thing to forget to me, but okay.
Yeah.
That's a separate thing. I did look up St. John's wort because I had heard of it, but I didn't really know what it was. So Chris says he got B12 vitamins, which I knew, and then St. John's wort. But it's an herb, and it's actually a plant with yellow flowers. It's really beautiful, and it's meant to treat depression and anxiety, which makes sense. But it's named after John the Baptist. That's why it's called St. John's wort, because I didn't know that. And the plant usually begins to flower around the 24th of June, which is the feast day of St. John the Baptist.
Oh, maybe that's why they called it that.
Yeah, that's why it's called that. It's so crazy. But apparently, this is actually really funny to me because it contains many chemicals that act on messengers in the brain that regulate your mood, which a lot of, dietary supplements and things like that do. But St. John's wort specifically is available in dietary supplements in the U.S., but France has actually banned it because of drug interaction concerns. And in other countries, it's only available with a prescription because it can give you like,
hallucinations.
Hallucinations, yes.
Interesting.
And so I guess be careful. I don't know. Maybe in the US it's only like a certain amount or whatever, but like in a lot of countries it's not available for like over the counter because of that reason. So that's kind of wild because it interacts with the brain chemicals, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like we crack down on our medicine pretty well in this country, honestly. Like make a lot of things prescriptions.
So they can be paid for.
Exactly.
For big pharma.
That was exactly where I was going with that. So it's interesting that it's like something we can buy easily.
But
here.
at the same time, I don't know. The Food and Drug Administration is kind of like in some regards a joke to me because like we put so much shit in our like foods and drugs that this makes sense to my brain because the fact that like so many gluten-free and dairy-free people can go to Europe or Mexico and like be totally fine. Like doesn't make sense to me.
We have so much processed shit over here. That's really what it is. When I go to Europe, I feel like I just, even if I eat chicken wings every day, I feel like better because
you eat what every day?
Even if I eat chicken wings every day, it's like I feel better because it's like fresh. Like everything's just so much more fresh.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought that was interesting. So maybe I'll have to try some.
Very interesting.
Okay, so now the trial is starting and the lead jury person, I don't know if it's a jury, but the lead committee person is stating why we're here, asks if Leslie would like to make a statement. This actor is named Kevin Rock. He's been in NCIS, Criminal Minds, 2 episodes of The Kroll Show, which is cool, Rizzoli and Isles, like a bunch of other things, and most recently something called Surfside Girls, where he plays a town person, so I thought that was really interesting crossover with the townspeople. I'm reaching, but I thought that was interesting. But his character name, which I don't ever remember them saying it, not even in the deleted scenes, but his character name on IMDb is Alan Bach, like Alan Bach. And I'm just like, okay.
That's his first name? Or that's his first and last?
Well, it was together.
Oh, interesting.
And there was no other name listed. It was just Allenbach. And I was like, okay.
All right.
Maybe
I do feel like this happens a lot in Parks and Rec, where they get a name and sometimes we don't ever even hear it.
Right. Totally. So. But I reached out to him, and because he was the only one, I haven't heard back from him yet, but like that's another reason why I was like, this is going faster than I thought, because he was really the only guest star that like we didn't know already. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Because Ethel's been there.
Yeah. He did a great
job. All the witnesses have been there. So
yeah. So good job to Kevin. Great job. Love that. And Leslie says for her like statement thing that she's not going to, fight the charges. She's going to admit to the relationship. They did violate Chris's rule.
Which he very defensively comes forward and says, it's not my rule. Like it's a government rule. It's set in place so that, we're not, abusing the system, basically.
I like how much she says Chris's rule. Like she said it, or not Chris's rule, but like they say it so much even before this episode, but in this episode it's like by the time we get to him like going crazy with it, this is out because she says that I broke Chris's rule, and then he says I'm going to like question everybody, and what's his name says you're bringing 14 witnesses, and that's when she says it again. So it's like this constant buildup, and I actually really liked that, to be honest, that Chris was like, it's not my rule, I don't want to do this. I mean, again, this is where we're still like kind of okay with Chris doing this. Yeah. But like this is a government rule that exists in every government. You can't blame me for your actions. You know what I mean? So like I kind of like that he did that.
I like the buildup that you're talking about too, because I think even though us as the audience were so gung-ho Leslie Ben, but seeing the buildup of it being weighed on him and then him blowing up helps us justify, okay, yeah, man, we feel you, we're with you.
Because they never call it like a government rule. They always say it's Chris's rule.
Right.
So anyway, but this is probably my favorite thing, where Leslie's explaining Sarah Nelson Quindle, who exposed her elbow, which was a Class A felony, but she accepted her punishment to be set adrift on Lake Michigan like a human popsicle. Look how calm she looks. That's how I feel.
What did she say later? The frozen whore.
Yes, exactly.
I love that so much.
Oh my God. Well, and I like that this lady is standing. Like she's
on the there's no way
balanced on that little piece of ice. Oh my God.
Yeah. This is they're not in Canada. In Canada, I feel like you might be able to do that. I don't know if ice is over in Indiana enough for you to stand on those.
That's true. It did look kind of thick if you look at the picture. That's funny. Okay, well, now Chris is questioning Leslie, and she's explaining the first time they kissed each other on each other's mouths, which is when they were bidding for the state Little League thing to be held in Pawnee, which was a great episode. We love that episode too.
Yes, so good.
And Chris asks if there were any special or professional special treatment or whatever. And the way Chris sighs is like, okay, finally it's over. Like, because after Leslie has her little joke of like back rubs and stuff, which wasn't a joke to her. But it seems like Chris is sighing like, okay, thank God that's over. We can move on, because we don't know at this point that he's calling so many witnesses. And then the lead guy, Alan Bach, says that he's calling 14 witnesses. And then this is when Leslie is like, I already admitted it. Like, I think that's what she thought. All she thought she was going to have to do. Like, I admitted I did it. Like, let's move on now. And that's when he's like,
which is why she didn't come super like prepared.
Right.
Right. So, I mean, it's very interesting. And I think Chris, the sigh that he gives is because he trusts her to be honest. Yeah. That she takes her job seriously enough that she would say, yes, I got special treatment, or no. And honestly, I can't look back on a time that she got special treatment from Ben. Right. I think I'm 100% with her on that. Like that.
But Chris doesn't believe her. That's the thing. Chris says, like, I think you started this relationship earlier. You're right. I think that you did everything that you're not saying you did. But so that's what is so like hard for me. Because he's like, I mean, there were no laws broken apart from bribery. There's nothing else that that they did, really, which is really, like, I don't know, annoying. But, I don't think they started their relationship earlier than she said. Like, she literally said on and off for a year in that first scene, and then she said that the first time that they kissed. Right. I don't know what more you want.
Well, and I mean, I think there was an emotional connection between them, but they didn't start anything.
Sure.
They were both keeping it their distance until that situation.
Well, anyway, the Parks gang comes in with coffee and tries to help Leslie figure out how to counter everything that Chris is saying. And I love that Leslie's trying to tell Andy what to do. Like, why does
such
she
a
think
golden
that
retriever?
he can do this?
I know. He's such a little puppy. I
know.
His eyes are like drifting off. It's one of my favorite scenes, honestly.
Have you seen that blooper?
Which one?
In that scene when Chris Pratt's looking to the side.
I don't think so.
Well, there's a blooper here that leads me to believe that might have been improvised on Chris Pratt's part, where he's looking off into the distance, because Amy Poehler in the blooper was like really laughing at this, like, oh my God, he can't even look straight at me. You know what I mean? Like, I think that it cracked her up to me in a way that did not seem scripted, but you know.
Yeah.
So I can totally see that.
What a great character choice if that was improvised, because that fits so well, because he's losing interest in what she's saying. She's talking for too long for his brain span. It's so well done. And then he tries to leave and she's like, wait, you don't know what evidence I need.
Right.
Come back. And he's like, oh, right.
Oh my God. And then he still doesn't get it when she explains. So April goes with him to make sure that it gets done. Did you see the picture of Bella Abzug apparently is also in her house too?
Yes, I did see that.
That's cool.
Yeah, I couldn't remember. I was gonna go back and look for it, but I couldn't remember where in the Leslie House episode that it would be.
Yeah. That's really cool.
It is.
Now Ron is giving the task to find out who's going to testify, and Donna has to help him. And
seriously, with the men in this office?
Yes, I wrote, yay, she's getting more lines. Yay.
Yes, I love it.
I know, so good. And then she tells Anne to text her every 30 seconds that everything's going to be okay. I thought it was going to be like 5 minutes or something. And then when I heard her say 30 seconds, I was like, oh, right. It's Leslie.
Yeah, it's Leslie. Yeah. And there Anne is doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Doing it for her. And then she puts her headphones in, which I want to believe is Sarah McLachlan.
I know, I did too. But there's a deleted scene, then it's Eminem.
Oh.
I know, right?
That's a jump.
Because there's a deleted scene. I didn't write exactly what the line was or whatever, but it was like, she was saying I need whatever coffee with whipped cream, which she gets all of these things in this scene. You see her with all the stuff, like,
and she's eating the whipped cream off the top.
Yeah, with the lattes and extra sugar, whatever the hell. And I need my iPod with Eminem, Lose Yourself.
I mean, it's a great song, but when she usually pumps herself up to Sarah McLachlan, you're like,
totally. That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's so funny.
Okay, so now this is where she has a talking head when she decides to fight, because if she doesn't, her reputation's going to be ruined, and you go down in history as a frozen whore. Also, I do love, speaking of iPods, I do love that this was like an old technology moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Loved that old iPod.
We've had a couple of those in the last couple episodes. Mm-hmm. The old cell phone.
Yep. All right, so now Anne is back with her laptop because she is next on the, questioning bit for the trial. Yes. I also really liked her shirt here. I thought that she looked really good. Obviously she looks good in everything, but I thought that this was an interesting shirt to me because it like folds over kind of. I like it.
Yeah, it's a very nice touch. I also found somewhere, and I don't know how real this could be, but her laptop case is the same one that Mark got her. Yeah,
I saw that too. I think it is.
Yeah. I love and as we know the show so well, they're very good at that follow through.
Mm-hmm. Very, very good. So. Poor little Mark. I wish he could have come back. Whatever.
I know.
Not fully. I don't need him back as a series regular, although that would be cool too. But like that would have been fun. But okay. I get it. All right. Anne says Ben is fine and to look at the monster. Hope you know what that means, which we do now. And then this is where Ron says there's a rumor that there's a killer witness, and Leslie is all confused because I guess she forgot about what happened at Little Sebastian's memorial. I mean, that's the biggest part of the whole thing. I don't know. It was wild.
Yeah. I don't know. It's hard for me because I feel like with Leslie, who Leslie is as a person, she's usually a very moral person, very with it. So the fact that she did this one thing that was not super moral, you'd think that would stick with her, So that's where I lose it for me. If she was always doing immoral stuff, like she'd probably forget, right? Like it would. But yeah, it's interesting for me that neither, because you'd think Ben would think about it too.
Yeah, too. That's true. Yeah.
So
weird. But crazy. Well, I love when Ron walks away because she says, like, find out who the killer witnesses are and, like, silence them or, like, make sure they can't talk.
And he's very proud of it.
At first, I thought that Leslie had a weird look of, like, don't, like, oh, God, what did I just say? But it's Anne that's like, what? What do you mean silence them? And Leslie's like, yeah, do what you need to do while you're on the ethics trial.
You're right. In the courtroom.
Exactly. Ugh. Okay.
Oh, Leslie.
So this is one of my favorite parts because Leslie is questioning Anne on when she started dating Ben. I love the detail that there are 44 exclamation points in her subject line.
Yes, 18 Ys.
Yes. Oh, love that so much. And I love this video, learning how to use iMovie. Oh my God, such a big deal. And this was at the time, let's see, 2011, right? Yeah, this was totally at the time when people got MacBooks and were taking picture on photo booth and doing all the cool shit that Apple created / invented for like the regular everyday user. So this totally makes sense to me.
Yep. I think so too. Good timing. Very societally on time.
Mm-hmm. And I think it looks like from that picture, it totally looks like she learned how to use Photoshop too, because she like cuts out the pictures basically.
Their faces.
Because iMovie doesn't really do that.
That's a great photo of Adam Scott, by the way.
Great photo.
He looks so cute.
Yeah, so precious.
Yeah.
But also, side note, apparently the song playing in the background of the video that Leslie sent is the same song played when Lil Sebastian's owners and friends walk out on stage in Lil Sebastian. That's so crazy.
Cannot believe I have not noticed that before, but when I heard it, I was like, yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, it's when the horses are brought out at Little Sebastian's funeral. I was like, how have I not caught that before? Because anytime I hear American Girl, I think of Harvest Festival.
Sure.
So it's like, I can't believe I didn't hear that. And maybe it's because it was in Parks and Rec a second time. It was like, oh, this is just Parks and Rec to me. I don't know. But very cool.
Yeah, well, and you're also so focused on the video too.
True. Yes, she was very excited.
I also love that during this, Ethel is eating soup. She's just not bothered. Reminder to rest in peace because Helen Slayton Hughes, who plays that, she passed away in 2022, literally last year, and we love her so much. We did a whole deep dive on her. The first time was the Fourth Floor episode when it was her and the other older black lady that were like teasing Tom. And yes, rest in peace, our sweet queen. We love you.
Yes. And I think she
oh, go ahead.
Sorry, Ethel. I think she's like, this is how close I am to retirement. This is how much I care.
Totally. I can't believe she stays in the office like up until, I don't even know. Wasn't she in the office for Ron's second wedding to Diane or something? Maybe not.
Her wedding to Diane. She's definitely there for when Ben and Leslie get married.
Oh, yeah. That's probably what I meant. I think that's what I meant. Anyway.
Yeah, she's with her lover when they have to come get the marriage license.
I love it so much. It's so cute. I was going to say, I love that Leslie's face is cut off from the screen. Like, that's so amateur hour. I just love it so much. And the explosion effect. Oh my God, it's so perfect. Do you remember the video I made for Sean that I sent you like a million years ago? I think it was
for his birthday or something, huh?
Yeah. Oh my God. So again, I have a lot of information, I guess, for the newbies here if you're new. But if you're new, Sean is also a friend of the pod. He did our theme song and all these things. We went to college together. And during 2020, his birthday was happening. Obviously, everybody's birthday was happening. But Sierra, who he has a music band with, Southern Call, was put out like a feeler and was like, or not a feeler, but just like put out a request basically of like, make a video to say like, hey, it's your birthday, because we couldn't see him. Obviously it was 2020. We didn't want to like be in person. And so I made this video.
His birthday is like weeks after COVID shut everything down.
Yeah, it was April, and March was when it started. It was, or not started, but like when
everything shut down.
But I made this video that was legitimate, all because of Leslie. I was like, in a world, and I said all of the things that were happening in the world. And it was just so funny because I think Sean thought that I was, which it's all parks, whatever, but Sean thought that I was like inspired by the Bobby Newport. And I was like, oh, that's true too. But it was totally this video that really got me sparked. So I thought that was really funny.
Oh, I love it.
Anyways, also I did way more than everyone else because you know me, but everyone else was like just filming themselves. It was such such a Leslie move. Everyone else was just like, hey, Sean, happy birthday. And I was like doing this full on production. So stupid.
I love it.
Anyhow, okay. Now we have where Tom is being questioned if you are.
Yes.
And Leslie is being questioned technically too about them being lovers. I had the same reaction as Leslie. I was like, oh my God. Are you kidding?
I thought that they had clarified that relatively well with Chris when it happened. So the fact that he's bringing it back, this was frustrating for me. And I know it's just part of the entertainment, right, of it. But it's like they told you that this was fake when it happened. Why are we bringing this back?
That's exactly what I wrote. I was like, this is the point where I think Chris is going too far. I mean, I do get it because to the outsider, and Chris was still relatively new, I guess, at this point, like you could see this. But just like you said, use your common sense, first of all. You know Leslie and you know Tom, okay? And secondly, yeah, like you said, we went through this. We already covered this.
We've clarified what's happening here.
Yeah,
so.
Never ever in my life. But I do think that it's funny because Tom explains that it would be kissing Leslie would be like kissing my older sister's elderly aunt. Yeah. Wouldn't that technically be
your
his aunt?
Yes.
Okay.
I wrote the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I know his point was just like the older that I can get the metaphorical person to be, that's what it was supposed to be. But I was just like, you mean your elderly aunt?
Right. Same thing, but
I wonder if that was like improvised or something too. I don't know.
It could have been. I do have to appreciate here that Tom is taking this seriously. Yeah. Like he's not, I mean, right, he does the elderly aunt thing, but for the most part, he's answering very clearly, like, this is what happened, you know, Leslie and I, you know, he's very, very clear. He's not like pulling any shit like April.
Right. Oh my God, April.
Which makes me mad.
Totally. Leslie's saying she had some trouble with her character witnesses, aka April and Andy. April is going so crazy, which also I do like her outfit. I just think that a lot of times when she's dressed so professionally, it just really brings me back to how far she's come as far as like her professional look.
Oh yeah, she used to have those like baggy sweatshirts she'd wear and stuff. Yeah,
and not even she's professional, more so like just she's maturing, and I think you know what I mean. So that was nice, but there was a whole deleted scene here, too, where Chris tries to say that Ben showed Leslie favoritism by approving things because of the whole, like, favoritism thing or whatever. And Leslie was super prepared for this part because, obviously, they had, like, a break and she got prepared. But Leslie pulls out an email where Ben did not approve of things, like, to prove that, you know, it doesn't always happen. It just happened to work this one time. And she says that 40% of the time things were approved for her by the city manager's office. And since Ben started, it's only approved 30%, which I think is a really good scene and information to have. I'm sorry they cut it because I think that would have been cool.
Yeah, I like that.
It's good to know.
Yeah, that's great. So I think that's great statistical evidence of her to have.
Yeah. And there were also a lot of deleted scenes where Chris Pratt or Andy's scene was longer, but April's scene was also way longer too. And that part I am glad they cut because I think it was just interesting to see little snippets of what each person was doing, you know?
Yeah, I don't think we needed more content. We just needed to see the snippet of what they were, you know, what they were doing.
Because they don't really say anything, and that's probably why it's cut in the deleted scene. Like, they do question April about, like, some notes that she had been taking or whatever, but, like, it wasn't really important. Which I, you know. But anyway, Andy thinks he's being questioned about a laptop that he broke.
Objection.
Laptop. Objection. Oh, my God.
I love it.
I did want to tell you, I think this might have been an alternate tag scene, but there's a deleted scene where they're at Andy and April's house, and Andy is literally washing the laptop in the sink to get the spaghetti off, and then he puts it in the microwave to dry it. And it starts like sparking and doing all these like crazy things, and oh my God. And then Leslie and Ben walk in after they have their little cute moment, and Leslie's like, okay, so my place? And Ben's like, yes, please. And again, I know this is a deleted scene, but for God's sake, Ben, move the fuck out!
Yeah,
especially now that you and Leslie are together. You don't have to move in with her, but like get your own fucking place. Ugh.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Anyway.
You're old enough, you make enough money, like, let's go.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. Now I'm at where Donna's being questioned if you are.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, she's being questioned about this motel receipt, and Chris is like, you can't use taxpayer funds, whatever. Ben and Leslie were wearing classic white people clothes, button downs and khakis.
Yeah, I love that. Basic white people clothes.
And I love that it's showing again, Donna's an expert at like sexual tension, sexual like things, situations in hotel rooms or whatever. And so she's like, listen, nothing happened in that. Like, it looked like an office, and apparently it was. And this is where Leslie messes up her ending line because they were doing federal grant proposals, and she's like, we got the gramps. It's gonna be such a great moment.
Love it. Oh man. Yeah. I love this too. Like, cause we're seeing, okay, he is actually coming forward with some legit concerns, right? If you're charging a hotel room, but
That's
like
true.
she has a good reason, and she has a good character witness for that. So I do like that we're seeing
fumigated. So shut up.
Yeah. I thought I liked that specific aspect also because we got to see more Donna, which is great. But also because this is a real concern. Like the Tom thing to me is not a real concern.
No.
So
that's true. Yeah. Okay, so now Leslie's talking to Ethel and like asking Ethel, what do you think your chances are? And Ethel was like, if you want to bet on it, we can. And she's like, is that ethical to do that? And she's like, I don't know. You're the one on trial.
Yeah.
Love it.
You tell me.
I know. Ethel's so great.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I like that when Ron's being questioned, we see the buildup of what we saw in the intro. He doesn't want his address known, which at first, I don't know why it didn't click in my head. At first, I was like, why does she need to know that? But obviously, she went to his house when she was trying to decide or whatever what she was going to do. And so, yeah, that was really really interesting. And but we did still hear 9301 Cedar Crest. So.
Yep. Which probably is easy to find if you're in Pawnee, right? Like, there's not going to be a lot of places that, they can say it to us and it would take us forever because we don't know the zip code. We don't know if it's under a different town. But if you're from Pawnee, they probably know now.
Right. Exactly. And then Ron smells Tammy.
And runs. He gets out and up and runs.
Yes. Runs away. He can smell the sulfur coming off her cloven hooves.
Can you do that if you're the one sitting there, like, witnessing?
You mean like run away?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. He don't care.
Yeah, he doesn't. Oh, man.
Which, by the way, there's also a deleted scene here where Tammy and Chris are having a moment, and Tammy's like totally flirting with Chris, like a lot. But it's like, it wasn't necessary either. This is a part where, similar to Andy and April, it's like, we just need to see the little clip. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the clip is amazing. I absolutely, Megan Mullally, the way she acts this entire thing is just so well done.
She's perfect.
And she's just there for the drama, which is so her. Yes. I love it so much.
She has pictures that will definitively prove that Ben and Leslie's relationship started earlier. But see, this is where I'm like, Chris, you must know that she's drama queen / liar, because why would you didn't say that to anyone else? Like, reminder, if you lie, I'll fire you and have you prosecuted. And then she changes her tune. So I'm like,
absolutely nothing. It will prove absolutely nothing. Leslie, have so much fun with this trial.
It's so good. I've been watching Will and Grace, actually, like starting from the beginning, because I've never watched it start to finish. And I love seeing Megan Mullally. It's like so wonderful.
Yeah, she's
and
so
Sean
great.
Hayes. I mean, really all of them. But yeah, love it.
Good stuff for sure.
Side note, I can say this because hopefully I'm really pissed about the strike, but
I read about that yesterday and I'm upset for you and with you.
Fucking abhorrent and ridiculous, and I hate it. But we'll talk about that another time. But she is in a new movie right now, which again, it'll be dated by the time I say it, but she is in a new movie called Dix the Musical, and it's an A24 movie that started out as an improv show at UCB, and I can't even get over it. It's the first musical that they've done, or that A24 has done. Nathan Lane, Megan Mullally, and these two, like, no, I mean, I hate to say this word because I am one of them, but like these two nobodies who just did improv, like had their agents or something. And they did not plan this. They just had I think their agents came and brought people, and somebody literally asked, like, have you ever thought of doing this as a movie? And they were like, and then they kind of like lied a little bit where they were like, I mean, sure. So Like, but I can't wait to watch it. It's like kind of similar to Parent Trap, apparently, which I don't really get the connection, to be completely honest. I just think it's hilarious that they named it Dix the Musical. So, I love it. And Megan has been posting. I found out about it because it was on Busy Phillips' podcast. They both were on the podcast talking about it, but the two guys that created it. But Megan Mullally is in it, and she's one of the lead characters, and she's been posting about it too. So I think that'll be really interesting to see.
That's awesome. I'll have to keep my eye out.
And Megan Mullally is like a Broadway star, so I'm really excited to hear her sing. That'll be fun.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
Okay. So, let's see. George Williams from Public Works is the last witness, and this is where we see that Leslie is scared because he's the one they bribed to keep their relationship secret. Mm-hmm. My question is, how did Chris know this? Like, who told him that?
This is where my brain went, especially when you brought up, why is Tammy there? Mm-hmm. Right? And then my brain went to, do we think that he sent out a ping to the government employees to say, if you have any evidence? Because I can see Tammy being like, oh, fuck yeah, I have evidence. If she got something that was like, hey, and then maybe he's like, oh, actually, I had a run in with them. Because you're right. How does he figure that out?
That's interesting.
But also, I can't see him sending out a memo to the entire government being like, I just don't know. I mean, it's a good point, but the Tammy thing is a good point, because it also is a good point here of how did these two witnesses come to play? Because Chris has to know that Tammy's not go to her out of his own volition. Mm-hmm. And then does he even know who George is? Right.
Yeah, I guess that's a good question to ask. Like, how, did he send out feelers or hire somebody to ask, interview everybody? You know what I mean? Yeah. That's potentially been in contact with them. I don't know.
Yeah. Or even because he was linked to this little Sebastian event, finding things that Leslie was linked to in this time frame she says she was with Ben.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, anyway, the point is that this guy, George Williams, which, by the way, is played by Biff Yeager, who did send us voice memos on the Lil Sebastian episode, so please go back and listen to that. I did message him again and asked if he had any further memories, but he was like, not really, other than what I told you. So, and I was like, that's fair. Totally get it.
That's fine.
And Chris is interviewing him now and saying that he saw Leslie kissing Ben at Lil Sebastian's memorial. Side note, I love that Chris keeps saying lol, Lull for Lil Sebastian. He really makes it a point to say Lil Sebastian.
Yeah, I love it.
But Leslie tries to. Chris says, can you point out Leslie Knope in this office or this room or whatever? And Leslie tries to point to someone else as if she's not Leslie, as if he's blind or something. And
which is, she's showing her cards right there.
Totally. Oh, and it's so good. It's so good. Yeah. And he says that, Ben and Leslie got all nervous when they saw that he was watching them and offered them a gift card. I love this line. My wife said my skin was luminous. He used it. Because I think that's the real damning thing is if they use what they were blackmailed for or whatever, or bribed for or whatever.
So if he hadn't used the gift card, it wouldn't have been as bad.
I don't think it would have been, because then it would have, I don't know. I'm just guessing, but I think that's why he asked that, because if he didn't use it, I guess they could have potentially said, well, I wasn't a part of this bribe. You know what I mean?
Right.
I didn't.
Or he actually didn't gain anything from it.
Right. But Leslie tries to backtrack because he's wearing glasses on this day, and he wasn't wearing glasses on the job. And I love this so much. I could read this if I weren't so blind. Well, that went terribly.
I would like a 55-day recess, please.
Oh, my God. They're nearing the end, though, so you don't have much time. She does get a recess, but that sucks. That really... And they saved him for the last, and I think that was really important and cool.
Yeah, the bomb at the end. The cherry on top.
Well, now Leslie is saying to the parks people, read through all these books, try to find some rules or something that could save her. And he says his doesn't have any pictures. I thought that was so funny.
That is one of my favorite lines.
Honestly, that could have been improvised too. Who knows?
Yeah. He's so good at improv. Who knows?
Yeah, he really is. But
that seems like so much work, though. Honestly, if I come in there as Leslie's friend, and she's like, start reading through all these books with the laws in it. I'm like, we have 10 minutes, friend.
I know.
Like, we need a better strategy. I feel like it's a waste of time. You're not going to find anything in like 10 minutes.
Yeah. And there are really crazy laws banning missionary position. Black people can't use city sidewalks. Like, it's so wild.
Yeah.
And I'm going to post this. I found this link that says outdated laws that you might have broken. And so there is this website. Again, I did not do further research on whether these things are accurate, but I'm pretty positive that they are. And I'll post it so you guys can do your own research. But I'll just read a few of them. The first one was Indiana, actually, that I was going to read. That's just the third one on this list because this one has 7 outdated laws. In Indiana, black cats are required to wear bells around their necks on Friday the 13th.
Okay.
The small town of French Lick Springs takes superstition seriously. In 1939, the law was put into effect during the World War II era to ease public stress. It still exists today, so if you're looking for a place to test your luck on the next Friday the 13th, which was yesterday for us, Indiana might be a good place to be.
All right.
Which I think that's hilarious.
That is funny.
I was trying to find some other places. I guess the closest place on here for you would be Wisconsin. If you're a fan of dairy in Wisconsin, butter and cheese are required to be highly pleasing. Since this state is known for dairy farming, they take pride in protecting their reputation. The Wisconsin state legislature contains several ordinances detailing these palatable requirements for both cheese and butter. So if you're looking for dairy that's required to be delicious by law, you'll find what you're searching for in Wisconsin.
There you go.
Crazy!
It's true. I have not had bad cheese there.
You said what?
I've not had bad cheese there.
Yeah, same. Okay, then I just have 2 more, and I'll just read like the headlines, not the actual description, because they're pretty explanatory. In Arkansas, it's illegal to mispronounce the state's name.
A lot of people say Arkansas.
Oh my God. And then in Connecticut, a pickle cannot be sold unless it bounces.
The fuck?
When's the last time you checked to see if the pickle you're about to eat bounces when dropped?
Never.
It enacted in 1948 to prevent fraudulent salesmen from selling unfit pickles. Today, the law still exists, but of course isn't actually enforced.
So is a pickle bad if it doesn't bounce?
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh my God. Maybe. I don't
like
know.
It's too dense with juice or something? I don't know. Wow.
In Maryland, it's illegal to swear while driving. In
so
Oklahoma,
many people break that law.
You said what?
So many people break that law.
Oh, of course, especially Maryland. In Oklahoma, it's illegal to wrestle a bear.
I'm okay with that one. I do not need to wrestle a bear.
People were wrestling bears so much that they had to make it illegal whenever this was enacted.
That's so funny.
Oh my God. In Rhode Island, it's illegal to impersonate an auctioneer. Okay. In Gainesville, Georgia, it's illegal to eat fried chicken with a knife and fork, which I feel like such a Southern thing.
That is a very Southern thing, yeah.
It says the law was passed in 1961 to get publicity for the town as the self-proclaimed poultry capital of the world. Okay. In the University Hill section of Boulder, Colorado, it's illegal to put upholstered furniture on your porch. I don't know why.
Weird.
Okay. It says this law was an attempt to stop students from lighting couches and other pieces of furniture on fire. Honestly, I could see that happening. Then finally, in New Jersey, it's illegal to commit a violent crime while wearing a bulletproof vest, which apparently violent crimes always are illegal, but New Jersey enforces an extra charge for wearing the vest. I don't know why, but... Because
the other person can't fight back to the same level?
No,
I don't.
Dude.
Okay.
Weird. Anyhow, so I will post that. You guys can do your own research on whether they're real or not, but...
Nice. Okay.
And then this is where Leslie suggests that Ben could be super helpful, and Donna goes to get him, but she can't find him. Mm-hmm. And also, I was going to say, April has that line about witches, which, like, if a woman is caught laughing, you're a witch, which brought me back to the last episode where I talked about witches and how insane it was. So anyway, I guess I'm a witch. But it makes me laugh too, because doesn't April like kind of consider herself a witch? I feel like she would. Mm-hmm. And she's like the opposite of laughing. So
right.
But maybe she's more like satanic and everyone else is a witch.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyhow, all right. So Leslie is now having this moment where it's really wonderful with Ron. Just because you did something bad doesn't mean you're a bad person. It's whether you own up to it and try to make it better. I think that's really astute. We're seeing Ron's mentorship come in here, and this is really nice.
Yeah. Very wise advice. I mean, that's the truth, right? It's like, it's kind of an equivalent on the other end of like, if you fall or you make a mistake, it's not that you made the mistake. It's how do you handle it afterwards?
Totally. And this is where she goes to her people and she says, I'm sorry I let everyone down, which is so deep because I think so many times we're just scared that people will be disappointed in us. And that's why we're trying to like solve it. Obviously, hers is also like, I feel like I'm a bad person, but it's so wonderful to see everybody just love her for who she is. And like, this isn't bad. She didn't, and like to their point, she didn't do anything terribly insane, like we were talking about before, but she obviously holds herself to such a higher expectation, and being held on trial is such a awful, terrible thing for her, but she's going to try to do what's right, and people love her for it. And, even before that, they loved her. So
yeah, absolutely.
Also, you can really hear sirens behind me, so apologies.
You're good. I don't think I can hear them. So
I'll probably be able to hear them on the recording. There were so many sirens earlier today, and I keep trying to look up like what's going on, but something must be happening around this area or something. I don't know.
Uh-oh.
Anyway. And I also have the window open, which is totally my fault because I don't have the air conditioning on when we record. So it's a little stuffy.
Yeah. That's okay.
Anyway.
Siren's authenticity, everybody.
Yeah. So this is when Chris walks in with a super sad / like negative face, and everybody is just sad, kind of. And she's going to accept what happens. And then this is where we get kind of a little, switcheroo, where the committee says she's going to be suspended for 2 weeks with pay, which is so the opposite of what we thought was going to happen.
We all would love that.
Yeah. I would love that. Would be great. And then this is where she's like, I should have gotten fired. Like, what happened? And she asks Chris, like, why, what happened? Like this, And then this is where we find the sad news that Ben resigned for her for this. And that is why. Yeah. And this is where he says he was just doing his job to prevent corruption. Hopefully she can understand. I personally, again, as we got further in the episode, don't think that it needed to go that far, but whatever. I get it. It's tough, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the reason I'm trying to, that I'm trying to see from Chris's point of view is he doesn't want it to come back that he was too easy on them, and that seemed like special treatment.
Yeah.
As a friend. But again, I'm with you. I'm still with you emotionally on it. Right. Yeah. I'm just trying to feel that devil's advocate.
No, totally. I see both sides, and I totally do. I still think you went too far. For me personally, just because I love Leslie so much, of course. Yeah. But also, I definitely see Chris's side, especially like we talked about. They keep calling it Chris's role. They keep blaming him. They keep like saying I didn't actually do anything when really they did. You know. So like I do get it. I see both sides for sure. But I'm always going to be on Leslie's side. Even Team though Leslie. It's not always the right side to be on. But in this case it is. So, but no, it comes to a good closure, I feel, with them kind of revealing what happened. I do love Chris's line of Leslie's the only person he's met who's worthy of being Ben's girlfriend. That's really special, I think.
Yeah. And I think that's him coming through to speak about that he's happy about the relationship. He's not mad that they're together. He's mad about how it happened, kind of.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. And then he says that the last page of the transcript is on record of Ben's, committee meeting, and that she should listen. Oh my God, I love Ethel so much. Rest in peace. I cannot even. And this is again also where Chris is saying the lull, even in this part of it, which I thought for Lil Sebastian, which is I think is great. Side note, I mean, he kind of like prefaces it with this, like when he says, like, can I just ask you one final question? This question isn't to me needed. I know we need it in the show, and I know technically, like if it wasn't a show, it would be because they're friends, but I don't think it's like professional to ask, was it worth it? Like in this trial. But that's just me. But we do get the answer, which is beautiful. So I love the back and forth also between the transcript and the real scene. I think that's what I was going to say.
The editing and the difference between hearing Ethel say it and hearing them say it is really great.
Yeah, it's a really interesting and pretty strong choice to have Ethel say Ben's lines. I would have thought, I don't know, I would love to see both and like kind of pick which one, because I think Ben saying it would be really strong too, but having, I guess, Ethel say it be on the record and like what he actually said and like what Leslie is hearing is really strong.
I think that's where it worked for me, was that you're hearing it as Leslie's hearing it rather than hearing it detached from Leslie.
Yeah.
But then also the first time we get to hear it come from Ben's lips is actually to Leslie.
Yeah.
Rather than to Chris.
Yeah. That's fair. I like that a lot. It's like so that.
Yeah.
And and Ben was like, yeah, because I love Leslie. I do anything for her, etc., etc. It was so beautiful. And I love Ethel's, oh my God, I love it. Crying noise. Nose blow.
It's so punctuated the way she says it.
Totally.
And this is one of my favorite Ben lines, and what I think my favorite line in the episode, when Ben's holding Chris and he's like, let it out, I guess. It's like, because Chris is more emotional about all of this than Ben is. So
totally. And for me, again, who knows how deep this was meant to be, but for me as an audience member, having analyzed this, but even maybe not analyzing this was such a huge deal, because Ben's whole identity from the minute we met him was building himself back up to be professional from the scandal of Icetown, making it more rigid guidelines, getting back to being a politician / like a good government employee, doing everything right. And he is now blowing literally all of that up for Leslie. And it's like so wonderful and emotional. And I think he's seeing that there is now, because Leslie, I think, has maybe had a better balance of it at first, I think, of like both life and work, or maybe she just combined them so much that it didn't matter. But to him, I think he didn't see anything more important than that. More important than building back his reputation, building back his career. And now he's seeing that there is more to life than being so uptight about everything. And it's really transformative, I think. Such a great, interesting character arc for us to see. So I thought that was really lovely.
I agree. And we see the selflessness here. So.
And now we see Leslie coming home, and she brings Ethel so they can reopen the record. Oh my God, Ethel / Helen is so freaking cute. I can't stand it with that little reading light / lamp and her little smile. It's so precious.
How did she talk her into like, hey, just take a real quick trip over here and then also go home right after?
I know. Oh my God. But then they kiss, and it's so precious, and it's really cute. Like while they're reading while Ethel's reading the transcript, she's like kissing, or they're kissing rather, and it's just like so special. Yeah, and this is where the scene would have been after the fact of Andy washing the laptop.
Yeah. My gosh,
and the snow looked great too.
Yeah, I love the snow. It adds that really cute factor to it. There's so many moments where these kisses for Ben and Leslie are like monumental kisses. Like when he grabs her after the Little League thing, when they kissed at the end of the last episode in the Smalls Park, and now when they're kissing here, it's like these big monumental moments for the relationship. So they're these like, I think it's just so cool, because I think a lot of times when we have those moments in a TV show, there's one of them, and it's like, okay, well now they're together, and they've got a couple.
That's so true. Good point. All right, well, now we're at the tag, if you are.
Yes.
And we are learning that Jerry's name is Gary, and the old director called him Jerry, and he never corrected him, so now it's Gary. He shows his ID and everything. Remember in the last episode, his old Parks ID also said Gary. We talked about that. And they just can't get over it. They cannot get over it. They need a 5-minute break to process this. And literally everyone is on board, which I think is hilarious, especially Chris. Chris is like, oh my God, you can't even say your name right. Like, whatever.
Right.
It's so great. I love it.
I know. I love it. It's a great little side. And because his testimony, like, it's not bringing anything to the actual trial. So it is a perfect tag.
Yeah, that's so real. That's real. Did you see the trivia moment about Jerry's mom calling him Gerald?
Yes.
That's so crazy.
Yeah. In the time capsule episode.
Yeah, Jerry's mom calls him Gerald in her diaries. So to his mom, his name is Jerry, or maybe she said Gary is short for Gerald. I don't know, but I think it was probably more of an oops moment, but I think that's kind of funny.
Yeah. It's very interesting.
I would love to see what his birth certificate says, because his ID obviously says Gary, which should be enough. But at the moment of birth, what did they type?
Right. Well, what was it that day?
Yeah. Oh my God. It's just hilarious how that keeps building, how he's eventually going to be Larry and all these things. And Terry. Oh my God.
It's great. It's so funny that they picked a name that rhymes with so many other names.
Exactly. I know. Oh my God.
I bet they didn't do that on purpose and it just fell into that.
Absolutely. Well, that was the trial of Leslie Knope. That's all I got.
Yeah. That's all she wrote.
Mm-hmm.
But a good one. A lot happens, but it feels like everything moves so fast. But we've got some closure on the Ben and Leslie stuff. We're not going to be as uptight about it. Like, we're not going to be as worried about them getting caught anymore or anything like that. So
yeah. And now it's really interesting because we'll get to see Ben like figure out his life and what he's going to do apart from the government in the secular world. And I think it's just like really interesting to see that and what he's going to be, pursuing next, because he does have a lot of skills that are so transferable to everything else.
Absolutely.
So that's really cool. And I'm excited to see that. We've got a lot of, Leslie Knope is not going to be good with having 2 weeks off. So I would love, I can't wait to analyze that part of it too.
Yeah, that'll be good. And the next steps for her, what this scandal will do for her job and her run for city council.
Yeah, we're getting close to the ice skating rink episode.
Yes.
Get on your feet. The best.
So
all right,
good.
everybody. Well, let us know if you have any other questions or anything else that we can look up for you. But anyway, we hope that you have a good week, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.
There's a Parkinson Pals and there's also therapy too.